contact me about meeting with extra time office hours, feel free to email me and we'll find you a good time. Okay. All right, and then every week I will have PowerPoints posted as PowerPoint posted, as well as any classroom activities and or homework. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. All right, we'll go ahead and do some stuff. So we're largely going to pick up where we partly review, but also partly where we started from or left off from last week. Okay, we're going to do a little review and then go a little further today. Hopefully we start getting into some analysis, but at the very least, we're going to do some student leader activities. Okay, I'm putting this here again, mostly for the new students, just to remind you to do some of the things. Get all of your accounts in order, share with me. Don't forget to use your participation points. Takako is today's student leader. If she wants, all of examples she's going to start with as well if we're doing analysis and stuff. So that's kind of the benefit of being student leader. Participation points can be gained first, for participating as well as reading slides. I'll let you read this by yourself later, Hanson, but I wanted to see, is there anybody who is, well, we should choose who our next student leader will be for Friday. So everybody's going to have a turn anyways, but would anybody like to volunteer for Friday? Okay, don't all volunteer at once, you guys. Because, whoa, this is dramatic. Just kidding. All right, I'll choose somebody. Let's see who's on my list.
Professor, I'll go.
Oh, I love it, Shahad. Thank you for volunteering. All right, so you will be Fridays. Thank you, thank you. All right, before we continue, Hanson, do you have any questions for me? Good, all right. And again, if you want to talk or you want to read a slide, when you raise your hand, leave your hand up. I may ask you to use more than one form of raise your hand. Your digital hand will be for, like answer, get participation points, read slides and stuff. Sometimes I may also say, in addition to that, also put up like a thumbs up, if this. Okay, so keep in mind, we may work with more than one emoji. And I think we'll take bathroom breaks too. As we saw last class, it's important for a lot of students to feel like they're just moving around, especially when you have so many hours in front of the computer. All right, I'm gonna leave it open. Remember, I like to start class with free talk questions. Anything you should feel open, you should ask questions. You should be wondering things either about classes, about schools, how to approach things, how to approach your core courses, homework, assignments. It doesn't have to be that. It can be like even managing, we talked a lot about this last semester, managing online learning, managing your mental health, exercising during the pandemic. So anything from controversial to non-controversial questions, comments. If you have anything you would like to discuss. Cultural? No? Okay. Well, always have something. Always have something. You should use this time to, I think actually once you guys start doing assignments, you'll have a lot more questions for me. But keep in mind that even when you do core course assignments, if you have questions about how to approach something, please bring them to class. All right, we're going to start with some pronunciation practice first, just to warm up. After this, we're going to start with Takako's student leader talk. All right. Don't forget, pronunciation is a great way to start any presentation or just to warm yourself up in class. It's very helpful not only for English, but even if you have tongue twisters or some sort of pronunciation practice in your own language. So for example, in the future, let's say you give a presentation in your own language, in Mandarin or Japanese or whatever. Keep in mind that some sort of warm up is always good for the mouth to get you just thinking in your language and to get you speaking and thinking about how you should be moving your mouth. Now, in the morning before class, I do a lot of talking as a teacher. So do you think I just get up, roll out of bed and, have my coffee and teach class? No, I wake up, I do some reading, I start thinking, getting language going, thinking about our class. I try to do something so that I'm more deliberate in that mindset. Okay, you want to do this for presentations as well, especially in English and not your own language. And even if you do 5 minutes a day, okay, just 5 minutes a day, recording yourself, watching yourself. We're going to talk more about recordings as the semester goes on and really how to analyze ourselves and how to compare ourselves to what should be right and how we should be fixing it. All right, so don't worry, we don't do everything at once. We do little by little by little. So remember, the purpose of our pronunciation practice through the use of tongue twisters is not to read them as fast as we can, right? Usually that's the fun of tongue twisters, is to read them fast, and it's usually funny, everybody laughs or whatnot. But this is different. This is not that. What we are trying to do is to do slow, deliberate movements, much like weightlifting. We are over-pronouncing in our pronunciation practice. Now, this does not mean you should over-pronunciate when you are out in the world or practicing your English with normal people. It's very strange if you start to speak too slowly and over-enunciating, right? People don't talk like that. That's why here, if you can enunciate slowly and say hard words, kind of like weightlifting, when you get out and you start talking in a regular conversation, you will be more than easily able to participate and pronunciate properly. Okay, so again, it's kind of like weightlifting. Okay, when you go to the gym, you weightlift slowly. When you go out into the world, you're not still weightlifting because it's weird, right? But then you notice out in the world that you're what? Stronger, and that everyday activities like lifting things becomes a little bit easier. That's kind of the idea, okay? So remember, don't read fast, read slowly, and make sure you can see yourself in the camera and or a mirror, or use your phone, okay? But most important thing is seeing how your mouth moves. Now for us, we have some of us have already done this together last week. And we won't have to talk about this too much every time, but just because this is Hanson's first time. We will kind of just review a little bit. All right, so each time we will do a little bit warm up before we talk. Why? Like I said, this helps you just kind of warm up for conversation. When I do speeches, even in my own language, you better believe I do some sort of warm up. It's very common for singers, anybody who is in acting also does warm ups like this in order to start preparing themselves to present clearly, thinking about their mouths. All right, so for most international students, remember, the most difficult thing is long and short vowels. We always want to be practicing this, okay? Feel free to stay muted for now. It will be too much for everybody pronouncing all together all at once. So feel free to stay muted for now. And then if you would like to volunteer with feedback, of course, we will do that afterwards. All right, so say with me. And remember, most important thing, especially because I can't hear you, I will be looking for your mouths. You should be looking at your mouths too in your camera and or your cell phone or some sort of mirror so you can see, okay? Repeat after me. Big mouths, over enunciate, okay? Ape. Good. Big mouth. Ape. Very good. And I'm watching your mouths. Good. Big mouth, flat tongue. Each. Good. This one is like the smile, stretch your mouth. This one is less wide, more just stretch like a smile. Each. Good, very good. I love it. Okay. Ice. Good. Don't forget, we want to hear almost the y at the end. Ice. Good. Big mouth. Open. Good. Open. Make sure your nose is closed for that. Open. Good, very good. Now, I also want you to keep in mind for the N, actually, we're not going to focus on this too much right now. This will be for later in the semester. Don't forget N, you do not want to use any lips. N should all be with your tongue. N. M is all tongue. M. N. Okay, so one more time. Open. Good, just because I saw a couple people using your lips. Very good. And it should feel weird. Okay, utilize. Good, and don't forget to think about that L, tongue between your teeth. Utilize. Good. So remember, the purpose of ape, each, is so that we can match the sounds. If whenever we have trouble remembering what is it supposed to sound like, because sometimes when we practice too much and we get too tired and let's say you're doing a lot of grammar or writing or something like that, sometimes we forget, like, oh, what is that supposed to sound like? Even myself. Okay, so don't feel like this because this happens to everybody. Even when I'm doing a lot of work with reading and writing and grammar, at some point my brain gets tired and I have difficulty even determining what is proper grammar at some point. So this is normal for everybody. And this can also come down to pronunciation of, what is this supposed to sound like? The worst thing you can do is pronounce the wrong thing, right? That's the worst thing you can do. So this always double checks to make sure that you are pronouncing things correctly. You go from your sound in your pronunciation, double check with how should this sound? Ape. Okay, good. We don't have anything in here. Let's see. Let's say each. Peter. Okay, am I making the right sound? Okay, so that's what the connection is so that you can by yourself do this at home. And don't forget to use the videos that I posted online as well for you on Blackboard. All right, we're going to do with the short vowel sound. Okay, whatever you do, keep your tongue relaxed, flat, and at the bottom of your mouth. Okay. Apple. And you should feel it here. Apple. Apple. Good. Tongue flat, relax, bottom of your mouth. Apple. Good. Similar, not as wide, a little bit smaller. Elephant. Just relax your lips. Elephant. Now, short A and short E can sound very similar, so we're going to do a little review. Say it with me. Apple. Elephant. And if they sound the same to you, they should not. All right. Hopefully, if you can't hear the difference right now, that's okay. Hopefully, over time you will, because you're still getting used to what it should sound like. Okay. Let's go to I. Relax your face again, especially your cheeks. Inside. Inside. Good. And again, these are very small differences between these three sounds. So say with me, ah, eh, I. Okay, so those are the three sounds. They should sound slightly different. Apple, elephant, inside. Okay, very good. Octopus. Relax everything. Relax your tongue, relax your face and your cheeks and your lips. Octopus. Make sure your lips are relaxed. Octopus. Okay, and like I have said, just to remind you, this is the same sound as in like the word law. Same sound. Okay, oops. Sorry. All right. Last one. Umbrella. Umbrella. Good, 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 good. And that's the lazy sound. That's the lazy sound. All right, let's review everything one last time. We're going to go through long and short vowels. Okay, say with me. A, ape. E, each. I, ice. Big mouth, big mouth. O, open. Good. U, utilize. Very good. Apple. Elephant. Inside. Octopus. Very good. Umbrella. Excellent job, guys. I'm seeing very good mouth movements, very good improvement already. Excellent. All right, so now that we have quote unquote warmed up, we use what we have just practiced in here. Don't forget, we always focus. We do not read mindlessly. We never do activities or assignments mindlessly. We are always thinking critically and actively with every activity we do. This is not just a tongue twister, read it out loud and have fun, right? That too should be fun. Class should be fun, but we should always be learning something as well, right? So there should always be a focus. We talked about this last time. And these are the focuses for this particular poem, okay? The long, short E, long I, short I. In the middle of a word, T is not T, it actually sounds like D, okay? Like the word Peter, okay? ED at the end of a word can vary. It can either be D like pickled, or it can be words like picked, two different sounds. Make sure you hear the t or the duh, because otherwise that's a different grammar, right? That's non-passive voice. Hard P, make sure you are pronouncing the R always, especially in words like piper and pepper. L, don't forget tongue between the teeth. And remember, relax. relax your tongue. Because you're not used to using it, you're going to find yourself really like having a lot of stress in your tongue. You should not. Relax tongue. In addition, same thing with the same thing here, tongue between your teeth, relaxed. All right. So I will read it first. Don't forget, watch my mouth and just listen. Okay, we won't have time for everybody to go, but that is the benefit of having student leader and participation points. Okay. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? Okay. Also consider your punctuation marks. That is part of oral English and pronunciation as well. Okay. So go ahead, read by yourself, at least read to yourself 2 times out loud, trying to really just be slow, deliberate. If you want to record yourself, you don't have to, but I want you to, the first time when you read it, just read it, really thinking about it. The second time as you read it, I want you to watch it. So first, no watching, just thinking, focusing on what you need to say. The second time, do what you need to say and watch your mouth as well. And then we will take volunteers, okay?
Professor, I have a question. Is it okay?
Go ahead.
The R sound at the end, is it strong or the R?
Yes, I want it strong. A soft R is more like a New York accent or British accent, right? So make sure I want to hear a strong Peter, Piper, Make sure you can feel it here, like a tiger. Sorry, I'm in a strange mood today. Too much coffee. Sorry. Okay, when you have finished at least 2 times, the second time watching your face, please click yes under your participants thing. Please click yes button so I know you were finished. Take your time. Seems like you guys are done. Very good. Let's do some, hang on, let me just make some space on my screen. Would anybody like to volunteer? If you would like to volunteer a reading, go ahead and raise your digital hand under participants, please, and leave them up. Don't forget, I will be grading you on participation points, and the benefit of participating means I get to give you individual feedback, okay? Since it is Takako's day, Takako, my dear, if you want to, you have the option of going first. If you want to. Takako?
Okay, let me go first. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked?
Excellent. Very, very good. I like also you should always look at your notes. I will always give everybody feedback every time. I can also tell Takako you were thinking about some of the things that we talked about last class. Very good. That being said, same thing, make sure you practice your L's, tongue between your teeth, la la la, pickle, duh. That's something that even if you have to do it super slowly, that's deliberately a hard word. Pickle, duh. Okay, very good. Don't forget a hard sound. Piper, Peter, and the ED in picked. Make sure we can hear the t. Very, very good. Give you your point. Excellent, thank you. Next we have Arthur, go ahead.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where is the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked?
Excellent, very good. Same thing, actually, make sure you remember the ED and really pronounce the t in picked, okay? Remember now, in real life, you don't have to be like picked, but just for practice, okay? Very good, and this is a tough one. Say it with me. This is actually a long ape sound, wears. So ape, wears. Very good, excellent. Who is next? Chuyan, your turn.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked?
Excellent, Chuyan, very good. Remember your L, same thing, pickled. You actually did it really well the first time, and then the second time you forgot. But that's because it's hard when your brain is thinking about so many things. So don't forget, always take notes. And if need be, sometimes it's helpful on your own copy for yourself. Like if I were you guys, I would download this and put your own notes in it for you, so if you remember like, oh, I always have L problems, especially in words like pickled, go ahead and highlight all words with L, or pickled, so that when you get there, the next time you're at least thinking about it, okay, just to remind yourself. And very good with the short I, whenever you, in the word pickled, it almost sounded like peckled. In all other words, though, picked and stuff like that, you did really, really well, though. So just remember, I guess maybe highlight that word as a separate one being slightly different. The reason being the other words on either side of it have slightly different sounds, and that's what makes your mouth want to change in that direction. It's very natural. Okay, very good. Next is Shahad, your turn.
Okay. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked?
Very good. I can see you were thinking about your P's this time. Very good. Very, very good. I could even stand to hear it stronger. Don't forget, for the words Peter Piper, we literally want to feel air. Okay, so everybody, let's do that again, just to remind ourselves how hard should the P be? You should be able to feel air. So put your hand in front of you and say with me, Peter Piper. And if you can't feel the air with Peter, then we're not doing it right. Now remember, the second P in the middle of Piper is not a P, it's a small P. So Piper, Piper. Hard P, middle P is a soft P, okay? And remember, feel free to take notes just to remind yourself. Excellent job. And also, Shahad, I would say you can even make your ER sound a little bit harder. But that, again, that makes sense. It's very great improvement. Yushu, your turn.
Okay. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. A pack of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers, where's the pack of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked?
Excellent job. Very, very good. I would say make sure you practice your short vowel sounds. It was very, very good. And I could tell that as you were reading lines 2 and 3, you were getting a little bit more tired because every time we do it is difficult. So just remember to differentiate words like pepper, picked. And I would say E-I, short E and short I are the ones that you should practice the most, as well as your la in pickled. Okay, so don't forget soft tongue. Very good. Very, very good. And last but not least, Jianu, go ahead.
Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. A pack of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers, where's the pack of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked?
Good job. Very, very good. So don't forget your L, same thing, la, pickled, but that's the hardest word. That's the hardest word for everybody. And then be careful with your A, E's, and I, short A, E, I also. Okay, so for example, like pepper, peck, pickled, right? So make sure and that we can differentiate, okay? And don't forget, if we overpronounce the I too much, words like pickled, when your lips and your cheeks should be relaxed. If we overpronounce, it can turn into pea-cold, okay? So if you find that you hear not but e, that's because you're overpronouncing. And here is where looking at yourself in the mirror or in the computer will really, really help you. Good, Hanson, would you like to try? Very good. Excellent. You have really good pronunciation. Okay, so words like, where's my mouse? Here it is. Words like here, now, we usually want to pronounce A because it looks like the letter A, but instead we actually pronounce it like short U, umbrella, picked a peck of pickled peppers. So it's almost one of the laziest sounds in the English language. So just and other thing, very good. Be careful with your short sound. Differentiation between and I in peppers and pickled. Very good. Excellent job. All right, good job, guys. We had a really good warm up. Now remember, next time won't take nearly so long. We're going to jump right into this. I kind of just wanted to go over and review a lot of these things for Hanson, who's not been in our class before. So to just kind of give him a sense of what we are doing and what we have been doing. So next time, instead of explaining it, we'll just jump right into warm-ups and Peter Piper. And we'll see, we'll probably keep practicing this because remember, it's not about just going forward, but once I feel like we have the basics down of short E's, sorry, not just short, but short and long vowel sounds, and what I'm looking for, then we will move on to she sells seashells, okay? Any questions about pronunciation? No? All right. Let's take a really, really quick break. Remember, we've talked about taking breaks in the middle of class just to kind of, and please, 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 this is not just about, oh, okay, well, I'm going to spend a couple minutes sitting in front and messaging my friend. You should stand up, walk around, okay? Whenever you have a bathroom break or 2 minutes, 3 minutes from your instructor, get up, walk around, make sure that you get the blood flowing, all right? So let's see, I'll see you in like 5 minutes if we, what is that, 8:53. All right, see you in 5 minutes. All right, welcome back, my dears. I hope that was refreshing. I hope you moved around. Go ahead and turn on your cameras. How many students do we have? 8. One, two, three, four. All right. Okay, so we're going to do again a little bit review. We had a bunch of questions last time about critical thinking. And again, I'm going to be reviewing this because this is a very important part of this course and what we are learning. Okay, a very, very important part. And is going to be basically the foundation of everything that we practice this semester. Okay, critical thinking is a large part of class participation, and it is one of the larger parts of an actful answer that gets you to the level that we are trying to accomplish for you. That is the difference between the lower levels and the level you need to be at by the end of the semester. And the difference is just critical thinking, all right? And just to remind you what it is, critical thinking can take any form, all right? Okay. So I know we read this last time, but again, we're kind of slowing down on this again because this is so important. Remember, the point is not just to answer a question in graduate school, is to show that you've been thinking about the information. And how do we think about the information? The easiest way to do it is to try to internalize it, make it relevant to you. Remember that whenever anybody has anything to talk about, the times that people have the most interesting things to say is when they make it personal or they relate it to themselves somehow. And that's kind of the key. So we read this last time, but let's go ahead and start. If you would like to participate and read a slide out loud, please go ahead and raise your digital hand under participants. And you will read in the order that it comes in, okay? So just to remind us, I need somebody to read. Actually, I don't want to read. Anybody want to read out loud, get a participation point? Go ahead, Takako.
Sure. So what is critical thinking? It is what your instructor are looking for. This demonstrates the ability to think about the content beyond what is printed. It shows that you can analyze, question, prove, implement the given information, and then apply it. Important. Take the information, make it yours, apply it. Evidence, statistics, quotes, and paraphrase. Analysis. Overall takeaway. Application of content towards other use. Significance of something. Analysis of statistics, quotes, and paraphrase. Personal experience. Examples, reflection. Problem solving. Solutions, think outside the box. Be able to think on your feet and speak or produce a solution answer with or without time and preparation.
Good. So let's talk about this, all right? What is critical thinking? Critical thinking is that thing that, let's say, even if I don't have a specialized background in it, just thinking about what I know in terms of my country, my culture, my education, it could be something like a specific government policy, even though I'm not with a government background, right? I should be able to apply my intelligence towards some other information to educate myself into kind of understanding it, okay? And to have an opinion about something, even if I don't specialize in it. That's the benefit of it. So at the very least, even if you don't know a specific topic, what critical thinking allows you to do is to at least think about the information generally and think about, what do I know? What do I know about my culture, my country, my education, what I'm familiar with? How is this different from me? Do I like it? Do I not like it? Am I surprised? Why am I not surprised? Does it make me angry? Okay, stuff like that. And it can even be, remember for those of you who had me last semester, we had kind of an unusual midterm. If you remember, was that our class? Where I did kind of yeah, we did that. Your action plan for studying English during the semester, right? That was basically practicing all the skills that we put together, but forcing you to think about it in a different light. That by itself was critical thinking and problem solving, right? So it just gives you a sense of what is critical thinking and how many forms it can take. What is it and how do we accomplish it? Okay. And again, I know this is review, but this is all super important for everybody. Chuyen, go ahead and read, please, very briefly.
How to implement critical thinking in academic discourse. Order of operations. Understand the information. Reflect on the information and internalize it. Connect it somehow to you and make it yours by considering the questions in next column. Consider your own critical thinking question using the 5 W's and 1 H: who, what, where, when, why, how. Use the universal structure: argument, explanation, critical thinking. Critical thinking and reflection questions: similarities or differences to your culture, country, education, business, family, government, policies, and law, society, etc. Worries or concerns about, surprised or unsurprised about, impressed or unimpressed about. Notice similarities or differences between cultures about, like or dislike. How do you feel about? What did you learn about? What is your opinion about? Anything else not on this list?
Good. So whenever remember this structure that I've given you of argument, explanation, critical thinking, you should always use it in your writing, in your speaking. This is the exact same thing that you should be using in your classroom when your instructor asks you a question, as well as what structure you should be using for the ACTFL. Okay, so basically, what is the ACTFL looking for and grading you on? They are grading you on academic discourse. Can you participate in a classroom and can you answer a question thoughtfully with good form without any preparation? The whole point being you don't know what question you're going to get, right? So by always memorizing the skeleton, I call it a skeleton, structure, whatever you want to call it, memorize this super simple structure. Very, very, very basic. And if you are not hitting at least these 3 things, your answer is incomplete. You can always add to it, but you cannot take away these 3 things. These are the building blocks, okay? So you usually answer the question. Answer how, why, what do you mean? And then where does your critical thinking come from? These are the questions that you got to start asking yourself and then relating to yourself, all right? To come up with what you were talking about and to prove your argument, Remember, critical thinking, your proof has to prove your argument. If it doesn't, if you have a critical thinking that's nice, but is not at all related to your argument, it's not very helpful. There's a disconnect in logic and argument. Okay. Now, we did this last time. I asked you a bunch of questions. A few of you were able to answer a couple of questions, right? I want us to instead of doing this in groups, but in pairs like we did last time for brainstorm, I want you to take 2 minutes. Now, keep in mind, when you finally start preparing for the ACTFL, you're not allowed to spend 2 minutes preparing the perfect answer, right? We're going to start at 2 minutes now. I'm giving you some time, but realistically, when you're in the classroom, when you are preparing for your ACTFL test and they ask you a question, you're not going to have time to sit there and think of a beautiful answer. I think what we looked at last semester, and we're going to look at some test theory together, I think you have 10 seconds to come up with a cohesive argument or skeleton plus answer. So having an answer in 10 seconds. So 2 minutes, we're starting slowly, we're taking our time, but little by little be pushing yourself. And obviously we didn't get to all of our questions last time. Okay, so choose one, try to challenge yourself to try to answer one that you did not answer last time. We will do a few out loud, and then we're gonna get into some other sort of practice, okay? Now remember, when we are answering our questions, each one of these, just to remind you, there are 3 parts. We never just mindlessly answer. We wanna go ahead and have very clear structure. We gotta get used to that, 3 parts. So just to remind you, I've asked you the question, answer the question. Answer why, how, what do you mean? Give me more information. And provide me an example that proves your point. Okay, so I want you to take notes. You don't have to post this into your into Google folders or anything for now, but this should be fun. This is, by itself, we're answering kind of unusual questions. That by itself is critical thinking. We're going to do all sorts of different ways to get you thinking what we call outside the box. Outside the box. All right. Take 2 minutes, and then we'll go ahead and take some volunteers. Okay. Don't forget, I want 3 parts: answer, explain, critical thinking. I will put the questions back up. 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Remember, we won't have time for everybody. Okay, 1 more minute. All right, let's go ahead. We'll just do a couple of examples because I want to finish up on this activity. But most importantly, I just want us to focus on what should this universal structure sound like. Okay, and we'll always have some small activity plan like this where it's just mindless and easy if we have time for it. All right, so first, Takako, it is your day. Would you like to try one?
Sure. Okay, I picked question 3.
Mhm.
So smartphone is the one that I would not be able to live without, because by using smartphone I can connect with people like friends, family, and do not have to feel lonely, even if I came, even if I come on the island by myself. And so for example, even like I'm now in DC and I came here by myself, so I feel a bit lonely because I don't have like I don't know much of friends or people here, but because I have a access to internet and I have a smartphone, I can like always connect with my family and friends back from Japan, and I don't feel much lonely because it's not, even if I don't physically meet them, I can like talk to them through smartphone, or I can like text them. So yeah, so that's why I need to have smartphone even if I go to island by myself.
Excellent. Very good answer, Takako. I loved your answer. Very clear. I would have a cell phone. You gave me reasons why, so that you can connect with friends, so you wouldn't feel so lonely. And then you gave me a very, very specific example saying, for example, here in DC. Excellent job. Excellent job. Let's do one more. One more. Would anybody just go ahead and raise your actual hand, because I can see I'm looking at everybody right now. Would anybody else like to do one? Go ahead, Yushu. I love it.
I would like to pick the fifth one. I'd like to have an automobile on the island because it's very useful. It could be used as a temporary accommodation when there's a rainy day and snowy day maybe. And it can also be used to move food or products. If there is somebody come to see me and they want to bring me something, it could be very useful. I'd like to give an example. That's when I was traveling in Croatia. In that country, there's many beautiful visiting places that they don't have public transportation. You could take the public transportation to go there. So me and my friend, we rented a car, and we have a very good traveling experience. That's when I realized learning to drive and having a car is so important. Yeah.
Mhm. Excellent job. I love your very clear answer. You would have some sort of vehicle to get around the island, move products, not like some fancy car. Actually, I've heard some students have said, I would get like a Maserati. And it's like, what do you do with a Maserati by yourself? Sounds very cool, but I like this a lot better. You know, move food products, for example. When you were in Croatia, you really understood, the importance of good public transportation. Excellent job. Excellent job. Very good. All right. So what do we learn here? We learn that even with a simple question, we're going to see how this reflects in the future, but even given a very simple question, a lot of students sometimes say, well, I don't know what to talk about. This should give you something to talk about, to always know what to talk about. And it gives you something more to talk about than just, I would have this car because it would be cool, right? It gives us a lot more depth to our answer in addition to application. That's just like providing a quote, okay? All right, Takako, it is your day. Go ahead and share with us whatever you would like to share with us today.
Okay, sure. So actually, I wasn't able to come up with very fun topic. It's more like academic topic. So okay, so today's topic is digital inclusion. That's what I want to discuss with you guys. So because I am IDEB content writer, I'm currently studying like development with any kind of related subject areas, and I'm also taking the digital development class this semester, so I'm gonna share a bit about it. So before getting into the discussion topic, I just want to ask you one question. So how many of the world population do you think are having the access to like mobile phones in the world? Any guess? Like a 20% or 40% or 60%? Any guess?
30%.
Let's say 30.
Yeah, 40%.
Okay, so the answer is 60%. So quite a large percent of population actually have access to mobile phone. And it's actually, so as you know, the progress on internet access is quite fast, and which is even faster than like other basic needs, like access to water or education or health. So yeah, it's quite like remarkable progress in the world. And in addition to that, so digital technology enable like development practitioner to improve the delivery of traditional development programs like education programs or other related like health programs or some kind of information like, by using mobile phones they can smoothly deliver to like people in developing countries as well. So it seems like having internet or having mobile phones brings large benefits to all of us. So, but however, there is a huge issues. So which is what I'm going to talk about today. So which is a digital divide. So although like many people, like 60% of population have access to mobile phone, there is still lots of people do not have access to those kind of mobile phone and internet access. That means they are marginalized from the community. So they don't have the access to information or other like basic, other important information. So this is a kind of a huge issues in development world currently. So who is marginalized in the world? So it can be like women, the poor, or those who living in rural areas, or it might be like elderly people, those who do not have like digital literacy. So it kind of so there are like various people who are marginalized from population. So I'd like to discuss, so who could be the marginalized population in your country? I just want to discuss because we are from a different world, or it could be any country you are studying on. It doesn't have to be your country. So I want to discuss who could be the marginalized population. So for example, India, this is what I learned from class. So because India has some like cultural norms, like women are a little bit women are like biased. No, women are marginalized from population. So because people think that like having a mobile phone could be increase the risk to like expose some risk if women have the mobile phone. So that's why they don't have ownership of like having a mobile phone. So that's kind of one challenge is for that country to like deliver the internet access to women. So yeah, that is one of the examples. So I want to hear or like what could be who could be the marginalized population in your country or any other.
Can I
Go ahead.
explain?
Go ahead.
So I'm from Saudi Arabia. I think overall we're a digitally aware country. We have digital ownership. Many people have access to the internet, fast internet and information. However, I think if I want to choose a marginalized people in my country, it would be the rural people, the rural countries, or the rural areas. I mean, especially with COVID-19 and people having to switch to computers and laptop for studying. Many of them actually did not have like a laptop or computer to access the classes. So this was a big problem for them, and that's why the government had to compensate or had to buy them laptops and computers and send it to the small villages. Sometimes even internet network doesn't even reach that areas. So they had to build infrastructure for internet and so on. So I think in my country, we have a problem that there's a big gap between rural areas and developed like cities. And and because of COVID, I think this gap is a little bit shrinking.
Excellent. Good answer. Jiangyu, would you like to speak next? Your hand is up, so if you want to.
Yeah. Okay. So, in China, there's also a similar issue on the internet. Like during this COVID-19, the most schools will turn to the online session. So there would be the Wi-Fi problems, since in some mountain areas, it's hard for them to get these signals. So there are some news that the students need to sit on the buildings to get this signal. So I think this important infrastructure issue the government should solve. And also, I think the most important issue of internet is to give us, especially our citizens, to the right to speak our voice, to express our opinions, and especially when some governments or some special departments couldn't do well, and the internet could help us to spread our ideas or difficulties. Yeah, so I think the online platform is important, and the government should try to develop it, and instead of provide more obstacles to it.
Excellent. I love that answer. Very good argument, explanation, and your critical thinking. I think that the government should do this because of what I just said. Very, very good, Jiangyu. Very good critical thinking at the end of that. Arthur.
Yeah, I just want to bring it up. I think it would be elderly people, older population in China, I believe it's also in other countries. And the reason why is actually, I think, when you have a society where you have too much tech, actually, that's when you go to the store, most of the people in most of the stores, they will only receive digital cash, or they only receive a mobile payment rather than cash. And you will actually find a lot of old people, they don't really know how to use the mobile payment like WeChat Pay, Alipay. Even like Apple Pay, I believe, in certain part of the United States. So, and then I can give you another example. I think during COVID in China, there's a digital ID, which basically shows that you are testing negatively. So you can actually go take the bus and take the train. But then for a lot of old people, they don't really, even they are testing negatively, they don't really know how to use the digital ID. Therefore, when they go on the bus, they actually they've been prevented from taking those transportation tools. So I believe, I guess in a way, when you compare it to the other countries, in China, the issue is more like everyone has the tech, but then the older people don't know how to use it. So yeah, and that actually kind of marginalized. Yeah.
Very good. Excellent, Arthur. And then we just follow up with what do you think can be done about that? How can we include the senior population a little more?
Well, I think firstly, slow down the transition, or at least having a transition process that don't just move too quickly into like a non-cash society. So, a lot of old people, because they weren't even educated in a college, because I mean, compared to their peers in, let's say, US or Canada, a lot of right now old people in their 60s, 70s, so they probably went to college before. For China, in China's case, I think a lot of people were born maybe back in like 50s, 60s, and that was during like a cultural revolution, or even like before 49. So I think it's totally a different generation. So one thing is definitely slow down the transition process, and the other, I believe, would be setting up a few educational programs and helping old people to really adapt to technology, because at the end of the day, the society has to move forward. So it's better to help the old people to catch up.
Excellent. I love it. Very, very good answer. Chuyen.
Yeah, I was going to argue, as author said, the elderly should definitely be one of the marginalized group in this digital era. So I would like to add on some examples and also how to improve such situations. So first of all, as author mentioned that in the most scenarios, you have to get your mobile phone to access somewhere. It also applies to the banks, where usually elderly go to the physically go to the bank and do some service at there. And currently, they are using mobile phone, I guess, to actually show your identity and also require for some services. And it definitely caused some troubles for elderly to actually how to manage their phone. And also one thing, I am currently writing about a piece on the digital currency in China. So currently they are sending out, actually testing out the digital currency by sending out red packets to the people who request for it, and it actually be difficult for elderly to understand what digital currency is and how to use it on the mobile phone as well. So that should be also a problem. So one recommendation from me, not from a government perspective, but from a software perspective, you can actually increase the user experience on the user interface, and also you can add on some icons for like explanations for elderly before they actually use the software. And also might be a chance to develop another version of the same software for the elderly with I guess with a larger user interface that works user friendly for elderly that has vision problems, so they can read it more clearly. And so for now, this is it.
Excellent. Very good. I especially love how you started with your thesis. This is what I'm going to talk about. And then ultimately, I'm going to provide a recommendation. And I loved your recommendation. Very, very good. So please note that we have a couple levels of critical thinking here, right? We've already started to make our answers a little bit more complex. Remember, I said that the skeleton should be answer, explanation, critical thinking, right? So now we have answer, explanation, critical thinking with maybe an example. And there's a second level of critical thinking, which is, this is what I would do. This is what I would do. Here is my suggestion. And don't forget, those are the things your teacher wants, okay? If you think you have a suggestion or you've read a solution from another author that you think is great, that's what you should include just before your conclusion for everything, okay? Very good. Yushu, your turn.
Actually, I had a similar opinion as author and Chuyen. I just want to add up that the expansion of smartphone usage is in accordance with the expansion of online business and online transitions in China. Like, I think there's a delicate balance. Like smartphone is like a market. And when there's a large proportion of population, they use this device to socialize with each other by online products. And that kind of create a small group of people that they want to, not a small group, like a special group of people, they use this specific device, and the other people want to get involved in this circle. So currently, I think the elderly people, they just have technical barrier. They don't know technically how to use this device, but they have all willingness to know how to master this device. So my recommendation here is maybe in the future, those companies who own those popular applications could have a short video introduction. So they could, like, I have this experience to teach my parents those popular application. They can't remember it if I only teach them once. I had to teach them several times. And I think a short video would be much more helpful than those introduction in words. So that's my recommendation. Yeah.
Excellent. I love your recommendation. I agree. Video intros are great. A lot of times when there's a new program that I don't know how to use, guess what? I just go straight onto Google, onto YouTube, and I Google video introduction for blah, 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 right? Excellent job. Excellent job. Now, let's see. Takako, is there any last thing that you would like to say about it? Because you had all of everything but a recommendation yourself. Having heard everybody's opinions and discussion, what is your final overall recommendation?
Yeah, thank you so much for everyone to share your experience or example. So yeah, I think what we found is like even in like developed countries, or it doesn't have to be developing countries. So even like both in developed and developing countries, there is some populations that are marginalized from like digital technology. So in that sense, I think we can, like, each countries have like different experience, but as you suggest as a recommendation, I think each country can collaborate how we can tackle with this issue, right? It doesn't have to be only government. It should be like multinational organization that can like collaborate each like stakeholder to tackle with this issue. So yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, guys, you guys did excellent today. I didn't realize we're already at 9:30. That went super quickly. But I hope you kind of see what this is all about and the benefits of being student leader and stuff. You get the most practice. I will ask you first for, like examples and to speak and stuff like that. And as you notice, even as we have a class discussion, every so often I'll try to pull out from you, I'll ask follow-up questions just to make sure that each one of you gets experience. In case I feel like you missed a part of your answer, I'll just pull out a little bit more to kind of get you guys comfortable with what should a complete answer be? What kind of questions do teachers ask? And how can you, how can you utilize that to help when you take this sort of skill back to your core courses with you? I hope you get enough practice during our classes, of oral speaking to get enough confidence to empower you in your core courses to at least engage more in group or pair work. Or we're going to talk a little bit more about this on Friday, is in a sense of, okay, your teacher walks up to you and says, I'm not just you, the class. Okay, what did you think of the reading? No specific question. How do you answer that? The answer is critical thinking. Right? Whenever there's no clear answer, remember, just go into problem solving critical thinking mode. How can I utilize what I do know about answer explanation critical thinking to force it into this mold? Okay. So we're going to get a lot more practice with that starting next week. We're still just kind of getting to know and practicing our style of class. But as you can see, next time we're going to get into a little bit more analysis style of things. Okay. Are there any questions for me before we go? No? All right. How are we feeling today? Was today good? If you felt today was good, go ahead and click thumbs up under participants. If you thought it was stressful, put a coffee cup. If you hate it, it can be a thumbs down. Happy face. Good. Excellent. All right, guys. Good to hear. I always want to check in, make sure we're always learning and that you feel good. All right. I will see you on Friday. Have a good week.
See you. Thank you, Professor.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.